happens when you destroy the man? You destroy the whole house. Do y'all know one of the biggest or worst thing that ever happened to black people? Well, we're going to get the integration, but outside that. Okay, that's true.
Taking the man out of the house.
Exactly. Welfare. Even though we were poor and we needed help, they came up with a system. Okay, we'll give you help, but under these conditions, if we give you this money every month or these food stamps, guess what? You better have a man in the house. Cannot. It looks good on the outside, but it destroys us. It destroys us as a people. So, when they gave us this welfare, these food stamps and stuff, now you've taken the man out of the house. Guess what? Now that authority that once was in the house that governed your home, that kept your son in line, kept your daughter in line, guess what? It's no longer there. And guess what you end up with? Destruction and chaos. Don't y'all remember during the time of the Clinton administration when Hillary Clinton them? What did they call our children and our young men? Did they call them super predators?
Mass incarceration.
Mass incarceration. Off of that one byword, didn't he say we'll be known as what? A proverb and a byword? Did I say proverb or did I say proverb? A proverb and a byword. That's what we'll be known as. So guess what they did? They labeled as super predators. The next thing you know, the prison population went from, in a 30-year time period, went from like 200,000 to over how many million? 2 million? Almost 3 million now? All in 30 years.
Wasn't that prophecy though?
Yeah, that was prophecy. Yeah. This is a problem. So when you take that male structure out of the house, now you have caused a problem. You have destroyed the home and the structure of that home. That's why if the nation of Yashra'al, we have to learn to love each other. We have to get beyond all of our differences and grievances with one another. Our husband, we have to support our wives. Our wives have to know how to love and support the husband and stand by them. Because this is a system that has put our men in a position. And you know, before I was awakened, guess what? I used to be one of those. I said, man, I'm so tired of black men making an excuse talking about the system this and the system that and the system trying to hold me down. I said, I'm so tired of that excuse. I mean, we need to find another excuse. And one day I came into the knowledge of the truth. And when I tell you, when it came just big and bold right before my eyes, I began to go into the scripture, and the scripture is telling you, yes, it's a system designed to hold you all back and hold you down as a nation. That's why Psalm 83 is so important. It's that the nations don't that the hate the nations are confederate against thee. That said, come, let us cut them off from being a people, that the name Israel be no more in remembrance. Is that not what they have done? Cut off what? Being a people. You don't find it strange that out of all of the captivity that have taken place on the earth, this is the only captivity where the oppressor sought to take the name of the people they oppressed? Why is that so important? Y'all know Maya Angelou?
Yeah.
What did she, what was famous saying? Not that, she said what? A person without knowledge of himself is like a tree without roots. What's a tree without roots? Dead. Maybe fall out the chair, scared. I'm sorry. A tree without roots is dead, y'all. That's how you destroy people. You disguise them other names and stuff. And this is why the Most High has to deal with the nations and the people. Okay, then he said, and out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry. I will also esteem them, and they shall not be small. The children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me. And I will punish all that oppress them, and their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governors shall proceed from the midst of them. And I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. Now, what is the Most High saying now? You remember I said he what? He brings us out of captivity, and he enters into the covenant with us, makes us his own. Then he gives us what? The Torah, which is our constitution. Didn't he just say the governor shall proceed from the midst of them? He said the congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them, and their nobles shall be of themselves. That's very important. Who are your nobles now? You said it right. Donald Trump. Who was before Donald Trump? Barack Obama. Who was before him?
Bush.
George Bush. They have become your nobles because you're in somebody else's hand, in somebody else's land. But when he gathers you, he said what? Your nobles shall what? Come out of the midst of you. They will be of your people. And I hate it when people tell me, you try to talk to people, tell them, we're not in captivity anymore. I don't see us being in captivity. I'm like, really? I'm going to give you a prime example, you're in captivity. I said, when you go to the store to purchase goods, who picture do you see on your money? Not so much the white man. If you go to China, who picture you going to see on the money? The people of that nation who govern and rule over you. Until you can go into a land and see your pictures with your money on the money, you're in captivity. Wouldn't it be crazy if we sit up here in the land and they got money with our pictures on it? All of their founding fathers and stuff, they're on this money. It's for a reason, because this is their land. They rule, they reign. And that's very important. Like he said, thy governor shall proceed from the midst of them, and I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. It says, for who is this that engaged his heart to approach unto me, says the Sovereign Elohim. And ye shall be what? My people, and I shall be what? Your Elohim. Behold, the whirlwind of the sovereign goeth forth with what? Fury. A continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with what? Pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of the sovereign shall not return until he hath done it, and until he hath performed the intent of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it. Go ahead, Akeem.
Well, I kind of, so with that, I'm trying to remember the scripture where it says that he's going to visit you with tempests and all these type of things, these fires and all that. So, and basically, that correlate with that?
Right. This is for the nations.
Right. But right now, we see fires, hurricanes, floods. We had a tornado down in Oklahoma City.
Right, but those are not the fires he's talking about. He's talking about some real fire.
Okay.
He's talking about destroying cities and things. So what we see, all of these things take place. He's delivering the people. He's making them his again. He's dwelling in the midst of them. But yet at the same time, what's going on around these people? He's destroying and rendering what? Recompense to those that hold his people. It's very important to understand why he said what? Come ye from among them. And be what? Be ye separated. It's very important. So, let's go see something now in Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter. There's a reason why there's an attempt on our lives. They're gunning us down in the streets.
What time are we?
Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter. When you see them just killing innocent people, when you see them just purposely antagonizing our people, just want to pull you over in your car for anything, just aggravate you, to upset you, to get you to become irate, so they have a reason to pull the trigger. But we as a people, we have to wisen up or become wise and understand. When you're dealing with the law of this land, you're dealing with the officer and law enforcers of this land. You have to know how to conduct yourself. Don't be getting on attitudes and all this kind of stuff. Just do what the people ask you to do so you can move on. Because your mouth cannot beat a bullet. Your attitude cannot beat a bullet. And this is the thing we have to understand. You're in somebody else's land. Did he tell you to obey the law of the land? When he told them that, where were they? Were they not under the Romans? Even though they were in Jerusalem, you might well call it Rome. Because the Romans were the authority. We know that because of their temple taxes. So we have to understand when these people say do this, that, and the other, you need to do it.
That's right.
You ain't got to worry, just do it. Because guess what? When the Most High calls us out and to set us up over the nations, guess what they're going to do? They're going to be obedient to what you tell them to do. Or they won't be in the land. And that's coming. You believe me? Watch that when we give it to read. You got that, Maury? You might read that for me?
Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before you, and you shall call them to mind among all the nations, whether Yahuwah thy Elohim have driven thee.
The blessing and what, Maury?
And the curse.
What are the blessing and the curse?
Follow each other.
Huh?
Follow each other.
Blessing and a curse.
Mm.
But a blessing.
Because you say they followers?
Yeah, if you do good, this is what happens. If you do
Right.
bad, that's
Right.
what they follow you.
That's what I'm saying.
He gives you an option still to realize if you do this, it's going to go right. If you don't do this, it's going to go wrong. So he's giving you an option.
And just like he said, if they follow you, just like brother said, he gives you the option. What did you say back there, Cortez?
They go together.
They go together. But you know what he said? He said after the blessing. You know he didn't say after the blessings had overtaken you. But he said after the blessings and the curse have overtaken you. He already knew y'all bound were hard-headed from day one. He already knew it. He said after the blessings and the curse had overtaken you. Did what, Moray?
It shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon you, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before you, and you shall call them to mind among all the nations.
Stop right there. He said you're going to, now, where is the nation of Yashra'al when this is being spoken?
And before you go,
They had been born and it was just a baby.
Okay then. They were not in Mizraim anymore. They had been delivered, brought out.
Right.
So he's telling them this now that they have been liberated. They're liberated at this time. But he said you should call them to mind where? Don't you know they would have been looking mighty crazy when he said that? You're going to call them out where? Among all nations. So what did that tell us? From day one, we were hard-headed. And you don't listen to nothing. Just can't get with the program. You're going to call them together from a month. I mean, you're going to, what did it say? You should call them to mind amongst all nations where I have driven thee of scattered thee. And the peoples, don't you know if today the Most High should return, let's say tomorrow, deliver us out of this captivity, and he speak these words to us, guess what we should be doing? Trembling with fear, seeking him. Why? Okay, you just liberated us. You just freed us. Now you're speaking in future tense that we're going to call to mind these things among all nations where you have driven us? Do y'all see that?
Yeah.
He liberated the people and yet tell them at the time of their freedom, you still going into captivity. And these very things that I'm telling you, you're going to remember when you get sitting on these slave ships and all. That's crazy. Go ahead, boy. I'm sorry.
Verse 2. And thou shalt return unto Yahuwah thy Elohim, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, and that you and thy children in all thy heart and with all thy soul. That then Yahuwah thy Elohim will turn or return thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather you from all nations, whether Yahuwah thy Elohim has scattered you. If any of thine be driven out into the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahuwah thy Elohim gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Yahuwah thy Elohim will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers, or your fathers.
He's going to do thee what? Good. And multiply thee what? Above thy fathers. Do thee good and multiply. How's he going to multiply them? So you can come back to the land and multiply?
I mean, women clean these men in the wilderness like this.
Yeah, they're going to multiply. That's the only way you can multiply. But he said he's going to multiply the what? Come on, y'all. I know y'all got to be reading the book. Above thy fathers. You know how big of a nation they were. He said, I'm going to multiply thee above thy fathers. And thou shalt what?
Verse 6.
Uh-huh.
And Yahuwah thy Elohim will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahuwah thy Elohim with all thine heart and with all thy soul, and with that thou mayest live.
Stop right there. I can end the lesson right there. What did I say the top of the lesson was? Birth of a nation. Did not he bring Israel out of her misery and what? Didn't we say it was a picture of a birth? He said, I'm going to bring you out of captivity. I'm going to do all these things. And then he said, I'm going to do what? Circumcise what? Is not circumcision associated with birth? He said, I'm going to do what? Circumcise your heart. Go ahead.
So that's what I was talking about Yashra'al this morning. And that was one of the things we was talking about, was when this thing, how the prophets would say how you know, write everything in your mind, you know what I'm saying, so that you don't forget. We were talking about ZZ, and that's how that came from. So what I'm asking you is, in the wilderness, this is when the prophet like Hosea said that these things, Paul said these things going to be written in your law, the Torah is going to be written in your mind. That's
right.
When that's going to happen?
Yeah, that's when it's going to.
Wilderness.
Yeah, in the wilderness. We look at the wilderness as 3.5 years, literally, but it's talking about a time period. Like when we look at days, we say a day is what, 1,000 years? Sometimes 1,000 years equals 1 day. 1,000 years is a day, or a day can be 1,000 years. So when we look at the wilderness, we're not looking at a literal 3.5 years. So during that time period, this is when these things are going to take place. Why is that important? And what should we get from that? You notice he calls them out. He has people set up for what? To teach. He calls them out. Then he does these things.
So this is going to be like, because I know it's scripture where he said that, you're going to call me Ishi, in other words, it's going to be, this is when everything comes together.
How you said the woman shall encompass the man? No, right.
He's gonna give the shepherds out his heart.
Right. So this is what takes place. This is what he does that because you got to realize something. He's not fixing to do over and do again. When he brings the nation of Yashra'al out this time, it's the last time. This is why he said he's going to what? Put it in their mind and write it on the tables of their heart. And he said what? He shall cause them to keep his laws. That's the one thing we have not had. We have not had something that calls us to keep it. We've been rehearsing to keep. So when he does that, it's going to cause us to keep it. It'll be second nature. You won't even think about transgressing. Because why? Because it's your last captivity, it says. When you go into the land from then on, you never read about once Israel entered back into that land, them going back out into captivity. Mashiach comes to rule in the midst of them for how long? Forever. And that's what they're talking about. It has to take place then. He's not doing anything individually now. That's why he won't enter into covenant with us now. Because why? We're an unclean land, pretty much we're unclean. And the whole house has not been brought back together yet. You know, Israel, when we read these prophecies, he's talking about gathering who? Or turning captivity to who? Israel and Judah. The two sticks. We collectively have to be brought back together before any of that stuff take place. Now, when y'all hear me say that he's going to pull us out in instructions and teachings, that don't mean that's a green light to transgress now before we get there, because this is a rehearsal. We're supposed to be rehearsing the righteous acts of Yahuwah. So let me make that straight right now. Because, we'll come over like this and we can just, okay, then, well, he's bringing us out to instruct us, teach us. So right now, I can just do this, that, no, you can't. Because you have knowledge of some things that you're supposed to be doing.
So by practicing the righteous acts, that means when we get to the wilderness or get to that point, and in other words, we start to be rebirthed again. That's when, like Moray said, when the 42 steps come.
Okay, yeah, but also keep in mind that what's the sign that you've been born again?
Having a body, your spirit.
Would anybody say that they're born again now? Why not?
Because I'm not like the wind. You can't, I can be touched. I can't walk through a wall. I can't read your mind.
Well, being born again has nothing to do with walking through walls and all.
What I'm saying is,
You're doing things different. That old man has what? You bury him, put him away. You have a new mindset now. Or before, when I would go to the mall on Shabbat or whatever, now I what? I come into the light and I'm reading in this Torah that none of my pleasures and delights are to be done on his day, but I should put them on hold and delight in who? Him. So if I have the understanding, once I read that, and I say, okay then, now I'm going to put all of that stuff away and put it down. Because guess what? I've read in this Torah said not to do that. So I begin to pattern myself and I begin to walk according to what's written. You don't think I'm born again? That's a new man. That's a new mind. That's a new mindset. Or before when I wake up, I say, you know what, man, I'm going to go there, I'm going to hang out downtown, and I'm going to scope out me somebody, and I'm going to rob me somebody. Because you know, you have people that literally plot to do wrong. So if that's me, and all of a sudden I'm sitting down, I'm reading one day, and I'm not supposed to do that, now all of a sudden, I'm like, oh man, I can't do that. Now I have to put that away. Now all of a sudden, I'm not going out there hanging out, plotting wrong. Now it convicts me. All before it was just second nature for me to do wrong. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm
No, you good.
all before I plotted, I woke up with the intention of doing wrong. But now I've read the word, and now all of a sudden what? The word has started pressing on my heart. I'm feeling convicted. That's a new man. That's not the old man. Didn't Nicodemus ask about being born again? What did he say? You all know he's talking about a changed man. He said, can a man enter into his mother's womb again, a second time? But what a man can do is what? Lay off this old man and start walking in what? The newness of life. Okay, go ahead, Al.
That's why I'm confused there, because I always, I'm glad you're going to give clarity on that. But I mean, remember he told Nicodemus, like when a man is born again, he's going to be like the wind. You don't know which way it goes, which way, you know what I'm saying? When he came back after his resurrection, I mean, he just was showing up. He ate everything, but he still was showing up. He just was. You understand what I'm trying to say?
I think what he's saying, when it says, and I forgot in the New Testament, it says Mashiach was the firstborn from the dead.
Right.
He was that new body,
New body.
the spiritual body, because he said that's what was flesh of flesh, that was the spirit. So he was able to pop up in the room.
Yeah, but are you Mashiach?
No.
Or did he have a specific purpose and that he was supposed a prophecy that he was to fulfill?
Right. Yeah, he was supposed to come up from.
Because he was without sin.
Right.
And he popped back because he had to do what? He had to return back somewhere and present himself as a what? A spotless or unblemished what?
Man.
To cover all that, so you could be born again. So the prophecies concerning him are totally different from what you and I to do. He make it possible for us to be born again. Because he had to present himself, but without him being able to present himself faultless or spotless, there would have been no more hope for us.
Right.
He was doing that so we could return to the Father as an unblemished bride.
That was just the bad teaching.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, even with that, when you told the woman, don't touch me, because I guess, it's like the wave offering thing he had to do.
Yeah, he said, don't touch me. Why?
Because they have not said
He hadn't sinned yet.
Right. Because he had not ascended unto who?
My Father.
Unto his Father. Why couldn't the woman touch him?
Well, that would have made him unclean.
That would have made him unclean.
Right.
I mean, have I answered the question or have you?
I mean, I'll wait that. I should be waiting that.
Okay then. Well, you can continue more. What do you?
Yes,
No.
No, I would.
Go ahead.
In the when you read in the linear, that particular last verse, when it said "Don't touch me," I don't know if we are in a linear. The way I saw it, the way I read it, it read it that in the sense of he said, "Stop touching me." In the sense of, because the way I was reading, she was basically in layman's terms. He was saying, "Stop touching me. Go tell my brothers." Because we just said that it would make him unclean, right? The very next time he saw his brother, the brother doubted him, and what did he do?
Didn't touch his finger.
You get what I'm saying? So the way it reads in a linear scripture, the way I'm looking at it, and I was hoping that would happen, it reads because she kept doing that. She like, no, go get them. And then he showed up later on brother, the Gallagher brother, but I just wanted to verify with the elders here just to see if it sounds right, because later on he was touched. So if he was going to be defiled when she touched him, what would be the difference for when the other brother later on came and touched him?
Right. I see what you're saying.
I would just get the confirmation.
Oh, but I like that. But the thing is, if we stay within context of the scripture, now unless the other part was added, do we have the right interpretation? He said, why did he say not test me? Don't test me. He said, for I have yet not ascended to my Father.
Right. So he went to ascend to the Father, then came back.
Right, but then he had to, once he ascended to the Father, he still had to do the priestly duties, right? He still had to do because everything that was here was set up like that. So he still had to do whatever he had to do, then come back.
Right.
Now he can go talk to them and then they can touch him and all that.
But did you read, is that what he did?
Well,
I'm trying to find out.
what we could gather is just like Jonah, he went down to the gate to Shaul, right?
Right.
So if he died and went down to the gate, the way I look, not the way I looked at it, the way I've always heard was that he went down there and grabbed the keys. Now we know that when a man dies, his soul returns to the Most High, and then it talks about no man has gone. In John, it talks about no man has gone up to heaven except who? The Son of Man. So at what point in time, and I'm just getting confirmation, was this all put together?
Right, you know what's happening is that the title of today's class is called The Birth of Israel, Jacob's Trouble. And what we should be doing is basically staying with the topic what Morey is trying to bring out to the congregation. And these particular topics should be talked about after service.
Right, that's how I was going. Yeah.
Right, yeah, so we can stay with this side of the confines of Morey's teaching here. I think that would be the best thing for us to do here, because we're kind of going off the topic here. But regarding, if you wanted, Morey, if it would be okay.
Yes,
If you wanted to talk about now, but Morey's talking about patterns, and he's talking about going into the wilderness. We're talking about being cleansed all over again, because again, all this is a pattern. So we had to use a scripture. We went to the book of Ezekiel, or the book of Ezekiel, the 36th chapter. And if we read verse 21, just for a minute, so that it can always stay within the lesson. It says here now, but I, which is Yahuwah, I had pity for my own set-apart name, which the house of Israel had profaned amongst the heathen, whether they went. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, I do this not for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my set-apart name's sake, which you have profaned amongst the heathen, whether you went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned amongst the heathen, which you have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahuwah, saith Yahuwah Elohim, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. For I would take you from among the heathen, which is what Morey is talking about. I would take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries, and I will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean from your filthiness, and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new ruach or spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh. So basically, it kind of like falls in line with what you're talking about here. We see, like Morey is talking about, when Israel came out of Egypt, okay, we went through the Reed Sea. All right, so we have now the birth of Israel coming out of Egypt. We also have now Israel coming out of the waters now. It's also a mikvah, or an immersion. And so now we have a situation now when we talk about patterns. We see now Israel now is also, again, Israel should return to captivity again in ships. So we're now in bondage all over again, but this time we're scattered amongst the four corners of the earth. We're going to be taken out of this captivity again. Or we're going to be taken, there's going to be a second Exodus. We're going to be coming out of this captivity, and it talks about now another mikvah that the Father is going to actually be doing to the nation of Israel, taking out that stony heart, okay, making them now a new person, where you're now able now to walk in Torah properly. But there's going to be a process now, just like Warren's talking about, is where now there's going to also be a purging also inside of the wilderness. Just like there was a purging coming out of the first Exodus, there's going to be a second purging that's also in the wilderness. But the other things about first fruits and Bechorem and the Messiah and all that stuff like that, that's like another class altogether.
Thank you for those words, Morey.
Yeah. But Deuteronomy 30, where we're at, we were in Deuteronomy the 30th chapter, we were in verse 6, which just tied in what we just talked about. And it says, and Yahuwah was circumcised thy heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahuwah thy Elohim with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And Yahuwah thy Elohim will put all these curses upon thy enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted you. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahuwah, and do all the commandments which I command thee this day.
Hallelujah.
And just tell me something over here.
Yes, sir. Now, if you see something, he's delivering the nation of Yashra'al. But at the same time of their deliverance, what is he doing to the nations? He said, the curses that I had you under, now I'm fixing to do what? Put upon the ones that oppress you. He's birthing or bringing who? A people out. They're coming out of a womb or oppression. And he's dealing with those who what? Who possess or hold these people. And that's what we should be saying. When we talk about Jacob's trouble, Jacob is causing trouble for the captives of those who possess him. Then the Most High, he said, I should what? He said, I'm going to bring you what? Through what? The fire. Mm-hmm. And he said what? Not one hair on your head going to be singed. He's going to bring you through it. You're going to be what? Untouched. But what happens to those that surround you? Did not he bring them through all of that turmoil and misery? Mm-hmm. Did not one thing happen to the nation of Yashra'al during that time. But what happened to those that held them captive? They were the one crying. Yep. It said a cry went where? Throughout Egypt. Mm-hmm. Because they were the culprits of all the madness. And this is how he shows the nation of Yashra'al that I am your Elohim, I am your husband. Because what happened to the nation of Yashra'al? She had put all of her trust and security into who? Her lovers. So in order to get your heart back and to get you thinking straight, now I got to beat down your lovers. Y'all ever heard the song by James Brown, The Big Payback? Yeah. Do y'all know that what it means and what had taken place? Mm-hmm. That's what's taking place here. It's the big payback. I got to beat down the lover to show him that I'm your husband, to show you I'm your husband, and at the same time, what happened? The lover that you fell in love with, he's mistreated you throughout the whole relationship. And that's what took place, and it's taking place with the nation of Yashra'al. Jacob's trouble is about the nations. Jacob being pulled out or delivered from the nations. Go ahead, Maury.
Verse, was it 8? 8 is it?
Yeah, 8, good 8.
Verse 8. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahuwah, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And Yahuwah thy Elohim will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of the land for good. For Yahuwah will again rejoice over you for good, as he rejoiceth over your fathers. Verse 10, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahuwah thy Elohim to keep his commandments.
To keep what, Moray?
And to keep his commandments. And his statutes, which are written in this book of the law. And if you turn into Yahuwah thy Elohim with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, for this commandment which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from you, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven, that thou shalt say, who shall go up for us to heaven, and bring it to us, for we may hear it, and do it. Neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us, and to bring it to us, that we may hear it and do it? But the word is very near unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil. And that I command you this day to love Yahuwah thy Elohim, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments, and his statutes, and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And Yahuwah thy Elohim shall bless you in the land whether thou goest to possess it. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away, and worship other mighty ones, and serve them, I denounce you this day, that you shall surely perish, and that you should not prolong your days upon the land, whether thou passest over Jordan to go to possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you.
Heaven and earth.
Right, verse 19 is very important. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both you and your seed may live, that thou mayest love Yahuwah thy Elohim, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him. For Yahuwah Elohim is your life, and the length of your days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which Yahuwah thy Elohim swore unto thy fathers, Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them.
Hallelujah. Thank you for that word, Moray.
Hallelujah.
Now you see the beauty of the Most High Yahuwah. He loved the nation of Yashra'al so much. He said, I'm going to send you into captivity. But he explained to them, now he had, remember what I say, he had just freed them and liberated them. Now he's telling them, I'm going to send you back into captivity. You're going to call to mind these things in a land where you're carried away captive. That's a loving husband, isn't it? For someone to warn you of what's going to take place. Not only that, so when it happens, guess what? You won't be sitting around playing crazy like you don't know why you're in captivity. He's telling them, yeah, you're free right now, but you're going to endure some hard times. You're going into captivity. Here's why. And that shows you the sign of a hard-headed, stiff-necked, disobedient people. I don't think y'all get what I'm saying, do you? To bring a nation out of captivity, choose these people to be your own. And at the same time, tell them, you're going back into captivity. At the same time, I'm going to freeze you, I'm warning, telling you, going back in. And how we should know that this is the reason why he wrote the covenant on stones.
Mm-hmm.
Because he would let them know the condition of their heart. The condition of the heart. They had other means of writing things. It was the reason why they would carve those stones. Because the people that he was dealing with, their heart was just as hard as the matter of material he was writing on. But he loved them enough, he said, guess what? I'm going to come get you. I'm not going to let you be destroyed, utterly be destroyed. I'm still going to keep a remnant. I'm going to come get you. But the condition that the people will be in when he comes get them, is something has to take place. Think about where you are. You notice one thing about the nation of Yashra'al. What's the one thing that we said was impossible and that would never happen in the United States of America? A black president. We believe anything was possible. Everything except that. Why did we believe that way?
Because we had been beaten down by the curses so long.
Okay, we didn't know we were getting beat down by curses, but we looked at the curses as being who beat us down?
White man.
The other nation.
Right.
So that's another thing we got to get straight to. The European people are not the only people that we've been in the captivity unto.
Right.
If we look at the Arab slave trade, the Saharian slave trade,
Right.
you realize that this one was nothing to compare to that.
Right.
That was awful. It was terrible. But what you look at is, we look at the powers to be. We look at the nations. The reason you said that we'll never have a black president because the people that oppressed us and ruled over us, all of their people up until that time, what? They were the presidents. And don't you see the same thing happening in Mizraim when they were there? Why did he have to send all of those plagues? Did y'all know that Mizraim was a proud, boastful, haughty people? And all of their deities were erect in the land?
Right.
So with Israel being suppressed and subdued, and all they see is all of this from the nations, guess what he has to do to get their mind and their heart back? The very thing that they see is impossible to take down and that there's no power can defeat this thing, the Most High has to defeat that very thing. He has to beat it down into power. When he did that, his people began to see. Did not he have to show, what did Moshe say? Did he not have to give Moshe a sign? Not to get to Mizraim, the Egyptians to believe. So his own people would believe that he had sent them. And it's the same thing. In order to get the hearts of Jacob back, he's going to have to cause trouble for who? The nations. They're going to have to see with their own two eyes. They're going to have to see everything crumble around them. And they'll be the only one left standing. And when you see that, guess what you will do? You straighten up. You begin to look like, wait a minute, how's all this happening? You're already on, let me tell y'all something. When you way up there about like this, the World Trade Center, and you fall, it hurts. We have gotten comfortable in this life. That's why we're so beaten and destroyed. We have been beat down to the ground. That's why we can live normal in captivity. Y'all know we done made paradise out of captivity. We live so good that we don't even know we're in captivity. Isn't that crazy? But he has to beat these people down. When you're up there, that's a great fall. It hurts. But when you're already down here, guess what? That ain't nothing. That's normal. That doesn't hurt. You just brush yourself off. But those who rule up, think of it. Those who rule over you, the proud, he has to bring them down. That's the only way he can get Jacob or Jacob's heart back. and get Jacob to begin to see things the right way. Because guess what Jacob has done? We have made an Elohim out of the people that we live amongst. The book telling you one thing. You ever seen how your loved ones, you trying to give them the word, you read, you research, you study, Mama, you can't do that. Daddy, you can't do that. We need to return back to Torah. He said, don't do this. Don't do this on the Shabbat. We need to observe and honor the Shabbat. And they're telling you what? That's done away with. We're not under the law anymore. But where did they get that philosophy from? The captives. So now, the Most High word is not important to you. Because the captives, or those that are present, they said this, and that's what you believe. So this is why he has to tear these things down. So with that in mind, just keep in mind, we're going to continue this lesson next Shabbat, and we're going to go a little more into Jacob or Jacob's troubles and examine some more things. But from this lesson, know that Jacob's trouble is for the nations. Jacob or Jacob is the cause of the troubles. And keep the understanding that, we as a nation of people, we have to start preparing ourselves. Don't just look at all of these atrocious things taking place with your people when you sit in the media, and all you can say is, that's sad. And not change and do anything about it. At this time, we're going to get ready to pray on our Moreh. Kasadabai.
Okay. All right.
And he's going to pray us out, and if you want to bring about one after whatever he wants to do, he just closes out. Okay, then at this time, come on, Moreh.
Okay, shalom, shalom, Mr. Nakai. Okay, let's give brother or executive Moreh. Job today in bringing out today's lesson, the birth of a nation, and Jacob's trouble. But what we're going to do now, we can pretty much end it here now, right? We can pretty much, we can end it, and we'll go ahead and I'll say a few words, and then we have Sister Shammai, she'll come back up and make some announcements, whoever might have heard the announcements, because the announcements are going to be very important. There's a lot of new things coming up. We just want to make sure that everybody is on point with everything that's going to be happening within the next couple of weeks.